On the other side are the rabid far left, the Marxists, the communists, the socialists, the toxic Labor Party and the hateful Greens.
Are you xenophobic? Please explain.
Senator Hanson.
I'm quite happy to remove this because this is not what should belong in this parliament. I'm going to drive this party, Andrew, because one day I want one nation to take government.
At 71 years of age, is Pauline Hanson enjoying a political renaissance?
With high rates of immigration fueling increased resentment in sections of the Australian community, the One Nation leader says that her past warnings about these sort of issues are unfolding before our very eyes.
Hanson first entered Parliament way back in 1996 as an independent candidate, when John Howard was first elected Prime Minister. She'd been discarded by the Liberal Party after controversial comments on the campaign trail resulted in being stripped of her Liberal pre-selection.
Present governments are encouraging separatism in Australia by providing opportunities, land, monies and facilities only available to Aboriginals. Along with millions of Australians, I am fed up to the back teeth with the inequalities that are being promoted by the government and paid for by the taxpayer under the assumption that Aboriginals are the most disadvantaged people in Australia.
Yet she won her Queensland seat anyway, fast becoming a thorn in the Howard government's side.
In her maiden speech to Parliament, Hanson warned that Australia was at risk of being swamped by Asians, pleading that we need to wake up to the impact of rising immigration.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians. Between 1984 and 1995, 40% of all migrants into this country were of Asian origin. They have their own culture and religion, form ghettos and do not assimilate.
Hanson lost her seat less than 3 years later, but not before her party won 11 seats and 23% of the vote at the 1998 Queensland state election, outperforming both the Liberal and National parties at the time. One Nation's momentum stalled in the years that followed, with all manner of party divisions, before Pauline Hanson made a surprise comeback 20 years after she first entered Parliament, this time winning a Queensland Senate seat at the 2016 election that saw Malcolm Turnbull narrowly returned as PM.
They're ridiculed by even their own councils if you fly the Australian flag. It's all right to see the Palestinian flag out in these protest rallies and all these other, even Hamas flags, terrorist flags.
Since then, Pauline Hanson has campaigned to ban the burqa, complained about the veracity of climate change as well as the net zero emissions target, and argued for more manufacturing right here in Australia, amongst a host of other populist pitches.
Immigrants must have fluent English and definitely no burqas.
It's helped her carve out a niche that's entrenched One Nation on the right of the populist political side.
Hanson often says what some Liberals are thinking but won't dare to say. That, however, might be starting to change, with anti-immigration sentiments and questioning of climate change on the rise within the Liberal and National parties.
You've never explained to the Australian people why we should have high immigration. You can't even explain that. You don't want to, because you can't. You're incompetent. Explain to them why you're bringing so many people into the country.
At the federal election in May, Hanson's One Nation party increased its Senate share to 4 seats, narrowly missing out on a 5th spot in Tasmania. There's a real prospect it can vie for the Senate's balance of power at future half-Senate elections.
Opinion polls now show that One Nation's support is surging. The latest news poll has it at 11%, 4 points higher than its result at the federal election.
A weekend Redbridge poll put One Nation's support nationally at 14%, more than double the vote it secured at the federal election just 5 months ago. One Nation now has a real shot at becoming a major minor party if it can turn more votes into extra seats, including in the House of Reps in regional areas, where its support is most concentrated.
That's far from certain, of course, but the opinion polls do suggest that some of the populist messaging from One Nation is starting to resonate with voters who are concerned with everything from house prices to energy bills to issues around social cohesion.
While Hanson remains a political outsider, a decade inside Parliament House has taught her how to build a team around her, helping entrench One Nation and its influence on the body politic.
I also want to thank the people out there who have stood by me and One Nation. I thank our candidates who have stood strong during these testing times and my amazing staff who have been with me from day one.
The question now is, are the times set to suit Pauline Hanson's agenda? And at 71 years of age, does she plan to continue in politics, or perhaps pass the baton on to those around her? One Nation has long relied on Pauline Hanson's personal brand. Without it, there's a risk her supporters disperse amongst other populist offerings.
Well, I've come down to Canberra to do some estimates, and I had to do some shopping because I like to cook for myself. And I went shopping, and guess what? I'm sure many of you are used to this. You buy these cheap rubbish bags that split and break on you all the time. I'm over it. I'm so angry about this. And 25 cents a bag. I'm sure many of you know how I feel about that. Of course, I had to buy it, didn't I? Because I'm in Canberra and I didn't carry my own bags with me. So anyway, this is what you have to put up with. So for the cost of living, I'm telling Woolies and Coles, get your act together with the bags. You charge a fortune for it, cost of living, people can't afford it, and it's ridiculous. I'm sure you're making a fortune out of it.
It's also not out of the question that one day the coalition might even need One Nation's backing to form government. If that were to happen, the minor party would finally have gone mainstream.
Hanson's career in public life has spanned 3 decades, and there's no suggestion just yet that she's planning on moving on. But if One Nation is to thrive beyond her legacy, she'll need to pass the baton on. And it may well be that that person is her daughter, who narrowly missed out on a seat in Tasmania at the last election and has indicated that she plans to run again.
With the last name and parental guidance to help make it happen, a new political dynasty might just be in the offing.